Good evening, people. It's that time. It's that time. And we go again. Indeed. Welcome everyone to my live stream. Welcome to the channel. My name's Danny C. Let's get down to business, shall we? I hope everyone's doing good, and I hope everyone's well. So let's get straight to it then. So this is the penultimate round of the GTWS Manufacturers Cup. So we are in the GR4s once more. So just going to spare a moment as we got our brother Indian Stig, who has spared a moment to say hello. Have a good race, bro. Like destroyed. I like that. Like destroyed. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. I hope you're well. And for those who don't know Indian Stig, he has a channel for those who like to go and have a look at his content on YouTube. He does open lobbies. He does league racing ventures, anything Gran Turismo World Series related. Sometimes daily races. And speaking of daily races, obviously I've done one at St. Croix, and it's been a while since they've done the St. Croix B in sport mode. So yeah, giving it back to what was when it was last used in the middle of 2022, months after the game first came out. So let's get straight to it then. So what's going to be happening is there's going to be you'll see in a moment. So we've got 23 laps at the Blue Moon Speedway. Obviously, it's in the infield A. So we've got tyre wear, fuel consumption rating set to ×2 on racing medium tyres. We've got 5 minutes qualification as well. You do need to pit once. Failing to comply with that rule will obviously end up with a hefty penalty. Okay, so it's a rolling start as well. Penalties set to light. Wall collision penalties on as well. Obviously, it's set to weak. So, like, the harder you hit the wall, then the more more likely you're going to get a penalty for, say, stop people wall riding. Do you know what I mean? So, ghosted set to strong. You can racing medium tires also. I mean, you can go in and change your tires if you wish, but then obviously you have to wait a few seconds in the pit box to go and change your tires. So let's have a look at myself along with others, which I'm not doing too bad on that one run pace. But it's just having looked back at the practice run from when I was on my night off. Then yeah, it's quite a mixture of racing cars. Obviously, you have the Renaults, the Citroens, Toyotas, Porsches, Mercedes, Lambos, Ferraris, Alfas, Hondas, BMWs, McLaren, obviously. Volkswagen, of course, Subaru. And Nissan, obviously. Dodge. Mitsubishi. So in a moment we're going to be getting to the 5 o'clock slot, which is less than a minute away. So then I can get some practice on board and then get on with what the rest of the motor race has to offer. So it is 4:45 now, accepting entries for the 5 o'clock slot. And the way you have to attack the second to last corner, then obviously, well, the last corner technically, you're just gonna have to abuse as much inside of the track limits as possible and get close to the wall on the left. And so we're getting into the groove now. Yeah, definitely. It's crazy. And then another thing too is how much you got to chain the corners together before you even get it together. How close have you got to be on the barrier? It's like if you hit it a bit much, obviously, yeah, that's where you'll get slammed with a penalty. So if I hit the wall like that, sometimes it comes up as saying it's penalty, which obviously led me to having car damage. Like sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. But it depends about how well you hit the wall. Notably, when I coming into the last corner, then obviously you'll start to notice the how much of an impact it is, and it's there like to stop people wall riding. That's what it is. Yes. Yeah. That's where the front right tyre is going to be destroyed, and then, which obviously it looks like it, but you don't need to pit for the new tyre. but you can do if you wish. But obviously, you're gonna have to wait a few seconds to change your tires, which easy said than done. You want fresh rubber, but then it depends who you're racing with or so. Yeah, just try to hit the wall, but then obviously note came up, and then it'll come up for when the opportunity's there. And then you could just go wide on the grass, even with all four wheels, then sometimes get away with it. But the consequences of that is you'll end up with dirty tyres. So ideally you want to keep the tyres clean as possible. There it is. That's the barrier collision penalty. Even without damage, then you're still going to get a penalty anyway. If I do race, I won't exclude a tyre changer just because of turn 1 in last corner. Well, obviously, with it being a mandatory pit stop one, where you have to come into the pits once, then it just makes you think. Then, obviously, with the competition that I'm facing, also, then really it just gives me an insight as to what's the plan of action to take. And then, even if the tyres aren't too bad, you could just literally come into the pits and don't change tyres, saving you a few seconds in a race. If I don't change tyres, then I'll pit the last lap. But if I do change, I'll pit lap 11 to get time back at those during doing the no tyre change. Yeah, because obviously when you get to get towards the end of the race with that set of tyres from lap 1, then obviously you'll be able to gain a few tenths of it and have more consistency, and then you'll feel the difference with the fuel load when the car's getting a bit lighter, as the fuel burns off. Therefore, that you'll start to feel the car and the change of direction pretty quickly. For when you weight transferring from one side to the other, or going through the cornering sequences as well as the braking, etc. So you have all that to think about on the approach to towards the end of the race. Pardon me. So I'm just gonna park it here for a moment and then have a toilet break. So I'll be back in 2 secs. Sleep is very important to do the no tire change. Yes, definitely. So then you want to manage your own strategy there, whilst in the process of following people, in order to stay within touching distance and so, and to keep the consistency as well, which is a key thing to have also. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a quick toilet break, and I'll be 2 secs. And I'm back. Welcome along, Marcus. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're well. I picked him round 3 with time change because can't overtake an hours faster, and I got space for pushing quali 7 P4. Well done, brother. Well done. That's up to you. And speaking of which, well, I have seen one of your latest YouTube videos, Stig, on your daily race in the BMW at St. Croix. Well done to you, mate. No matter the result, and it's tough as well from someone's perspective. Whilst you're in like the bumper cam, it's hard to judge a bit whether you hit someone or not. But so hats off to you for showcasing your sportsmanship, regardless on outcome, my brother. Because obviously it looked like it was a sort of a clean little move, but you want to be sure that to be safe than sorry. Because regardless of what happens on outcome, then you still increase the DR. So well done to you, my brother. So, and he's from Germany as well, Marcus. Okie dokie. Well, this is it. Getting close to that time for what is the penultimate round of the GT World Series Manufacturers Cup Exhibition 3. So, good luck to those who are taking part in round 5. Good luck to those who are taking part in the 5 o'clock slot. Let's see if we're racing with somebody familiar. Could be somebody familiar like Muscafi, for example. We've got Dustin. We've got Lion. We've got Heaton. We've got Jay. We've got Andy. So we've got a few familiar faces here as well. So I've got, for the race win, you get 294 with 8th place giving you 208. So let's see where I end up. You want to go? Go, go. Let's go. Thank you, Marcus. Get a bit of a tour from the Icelander. Gonna be my final push lap on this one. A nice little slip also. That's probably best I could do. For qualifiers looking good. Depends how everyone else is doing. So 4 times behind the professional pole sitter. So Ghost managed to improve. So I've qualified ahead of Heaton. What's Dustin? How's Dustin doing? Ah, he's 14th, qualified 14th, and only a second, nearly, well, just over 9 tenths behind the pole sitter. So there's just a couple of people left to run. Do you know what? I didn't think that I'd be further up in the qualifying. So, but the race trim is going to be a different story. So we've got Cuckoo left to run. Let's see how Cuckoo's doing. I could get as low as 5th, but 4th place said that something that was not really according to the script. But we got 4th. We got 4th. So I said to myself that if I anywhere in the top 8, happy days. That will increase me DR. If I finish where I started, happy days. Or if I finish on the podium, of course, still a good result, considering that that this is the first fictional track of the exhibition series. Well, for this campaign, of course. So all to play for in the race. So it's either hitting lap 11 or 12, or just see the tyres out until we get to the last lap. Just to do a no stop, well, just to do a not no stop, but the no change of tyres. So have a good race, everyone, and good luck. And let's play the music. Let's get down to business and do the talking on the track. Let's do this. Good luck out there, people. So we've got a BMW 1.3, a Citroen up there, a McLaren in 4th. So we've got the 2 Porsches lining up the third row. And there's Dustin. So I've got Krieger on pole, Edu in second, Lion in third, and I'm number six. Let's do it for McLaren. Oh, felt a bit of rear end kicking in, but must have touched the grass. Lions feeling the pressure. He's coming in for a very early stop, interestingly. So we'll just stay within the slip of the Spaniard. I'm feeling solid so far, but it's early doors. Krieger using all the grass that he needs, but he's getting chased by the Spaniard. And these two are battling for the lead. That I see setting the fastest lap. Getting a little closer to Ghosted. Building up a bit of a gap between myself and fourth. Whoa! Almost. But the good thing I'm doing is that I am keeping a bit distance only just to stay within the slip. Just got to be mindful of those rebounds and the retardation on the way the car lands onto the bit of track from the oval. Need to get a little closer to these two up front if I can. Welcome along, Brew Club. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're well. I just shaved all my beard off. Nah, it's not a new series to me because I've done it before. Just trying my hardest to try and close the gap to the top two, because I was within a second at one stage, and then don't want to be dropping off like flies. Crap. Managed to avoid a penalty, well, barrier collision penalty somehow. Oh, Kreuger going sideways. Indeed, it takes the lead, but through goes the BMW. Got back within a second now. Just need to keep it within striking distance if I can. These two are the Germans are giving the Spaniard a bump draft. As you can see, a puff of smoke. They are trying to work together, but they're not. They're fighting. And I've got cars behind me as well. I started fourth and then in the thick of it, of course. So it'd be interesting to see if they're pitted for new tyres or not. I'm gonna come in. No issue with fuel. We know it's time. Because I am speed. I'm just keen to see where the Krieger, Lion and a few others are pitted for new tyres. Which I am just getting the new tyres on. Because I want a bit more grip. But it's okay. Yeah, monster. Unleash the beast. Lion's pitted in from lap 1, so he's in there. Yes, Stig, we'll go after him. Just need to build up back the rhythm a bit. Having pitted and got some new tyres. We've got that mandatory pit stop completed. So it's just a case of getting the job done. Oh, bit of pushing and shoving going off there. Unless if it's the server lag. Lion's got a half-second penalty for a barrier collision. Saw that right from my naked eye. And he's going to make the job much harder for everyone else also. Copy. Lions served a half-second penalty for a barrier collision. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Next up, Andy. The podium is on the cards. Andy trying to break the toe. And I've got the German on my ass as well. The Spaniards pitted. They probably realised that the race is very much overdone with, but let's see where he comes out. The podium is mine for now. So Ghost had got the strategy wrong on that one. And he's cutting grass. He's got dirty tyres. Just need to keep the pressure on. The German's all over me as well. Just need a short shift my way. Andy breaking the toe. Try to drag me along. from the hard-charging German in the German car. Three laps to go. Got a bit of a breather as well. Two laps to go. No matter what happens, I'll take a podium all day. It looks like Krieger had a moment further up the lead. Yep. Leave me to it. Yes. Yes. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. I got a podium in the GR3 for McLaren at Road Atlanta, and now I got a podium for McLaren in the GR4. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yes. Thank you, Blue Crab. Thank you. Get in there, Danny. No matter the result, I always rise to the top of the occasion. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Thank you, Trivia Steel. Thank you. Hope you're well. Bobby Vegas, welcome along. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I hope you're well, my friend. And I hope all is well. So, for those who don't know Bobby Vegas Gaming, he has a channel for those who would like to go and check him out on YouTube. He does open lobbies, daily races, and bits like that. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm taking all the points. So, we've got Andy, we've got, I think it was Cuckoo. Really happy with that. 269 points. I'll take that. I'll take that. A podium is a podium indeed. Better than Oscar and Lando says Blue Crab. No stress. All good. So yeah, that's well, everybody ever has something to race for. Sorry about defending Slipstream. Had to. It's all good. It's all good. Because you know what? Well, obviously, I've been started fourth, and then obviously I didn't really think too much on how the race is going to pan out. However, I just had to be sure that I just do it wisely. Do you know what I mean? From where I started. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wish we could work together so we can catch up to the German even further. So I'm pretty keen to see whether he's changed tyres or not, which we're going to find out at the replay. Got any teammates in this series? Well, obviously you're racing for a manufacturer, basically, for when you're doing the Manufacturers Cup. And as for the Nations Cup, it's different, because you're racing for your country. Do you know what I mean? Obviously that you'll be racing there for a flag in a certain account. Do you know what I mean? So even so, people just do alt accounts and so on. Let's have a look at the replay. I don't need to race again because I got a result now. I'm happy. I'm taking the P3. Taking all the points. So let's have a look at the replay together, shall we? So let's have a look in the first lap. So Lion was obviously feeling the pressure. So I've got the planes going by, the jet fighters going across at the background there. Lovely scenery, of course. I was looking to go for the move on the Lion, but then just avoiding the Spaniard up front. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, and then the first thing I noticed after lap 1 is that he was one of the first of the stoppers also, which really changed the dynamic of the lot. So see who else is pitted. So there's another guy who is pitted in. Yeah, I did see somebody pit. And it was Ghosty in the Ferrari who were one of the first of the pitters. So they got the tyres out, and so has the other pit crew. Okay. No change of tyres. No change of tyres also. Interesting. So obviously we'll get further into the race. That's from my side. Obviously third place is on there also. And I had a Porsche on my ass as well. No. Yeah, I had a Porsche on me ass. I was looking at Andy for a moment. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, we got a three-way fighter in the battle for P4. Obviously, I am trying to stay within the slip of the two that's in front of me, Krieger and Edu. Obviously, I was building up a gap between myself and the car behind me. So it just gives me something to look back on. So going to around about 12, and then you see I was in a good bird's eye view. A little bit of a push to pass there, which obviously may have compromised his lines only just, but just left him enough room then and done enough to try and hang it on the inside. But then Edu thought, you know what, I'm just going to get it back on the next set of corners. So you have these two battling out, and look how much wear on the front right there is on the BMW driver's tyre compared to the Citroen driver. Quite a difference when you look at it, because on the front right, Edu's got more tyre. Esco Slay, thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And to be honest, I didn't think that this result would come in the GR4. So what I did was obviously put it together and qualify, which I have done only on my first attempt. So that's what led me to, you know, just to get a banker lap in when it mattered. And yeah, so I was pleased that got myself well in contention of a result. So in this scenario, I'd just like to see where if those who are pitted going to change tyres. So Krieger pitted for new tyres. Let's see. Andy's pitted for new tyres. Yeah, and well done to you as well, Ghostly, regardless of result. Her next pitted for new tyres. Got new tyres on. What has Heaton done? You pitted early to avoid the idiots. Then my dog started to act up. Then I fell back into a bunch of idiots that I wanted to avoid. Oh no, that's the last thing you need, buddy. But this is the thing that we've you got dogs to think of also, and then it can't be helped really. But for what looked to be what looked like to be a solid result for later on, if you hadn't been for some of the distractions that have been going off in the house. So Heaton's got new tyres on. Tillman trying overtaking into the last corner. Cobra pitted for new tyres, so is Norman Power. I like the name Norman Power. Testar pitted for new tyres. And which lap is it that when the two of them trying to overtake in last corner, Ghostly? If you can remember. So it was the moment where I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna let these others go, and I'm just gonna leave Edu hanging, which I had to do on that occasion. But tyres are very much similar to Edu's on the front right, and the fuel levels are very much similar as well. So we've got Lion and Andy Krieger making their way past. And I'm surprised that Lion didn't pit for new tyres. One was near the start, lap 5 or 6. Or the other was the end. We could have a look at 5 or 6 and it's not a problem. So, so there's Ghostly. Not on this lap, but the next one potentially. So it was these two behind, obviously. Because there's like no one in front. Okay, so Getzer wants to go try and get the move done. Yeah, we're just a bit of a pushing and shoving, and then Getzer just didn't want to give up that position, also. Yeah, so obviously that it was just one of them things where you just had to, yeah, just be mindful on some, like, don't take it too personally, because he was just, from what I could see, that there was a bit of argy-bargy going off there. So, but don't worry too much with some of the distractions that have been going off, because it's just, like I say, it can't be helped that without the distractions, then it would have been a different story, I'm sure of that. But yeah, it was. That's the issue when qualifying further at the back sometimes, because it's like you see the desperation going through somebody's veins, and then obviously, and that's when your mindset starts to your psychological effects come into effect in certain ways. So it was around, yeah, it was on lap 5 when there was some fighting going off. So where was I on a certain lap? So it was Lion who obviously had a moment of his own. Just by the softest of touches, which was enough to get a half-second penalty. Even that his tyres were completely worn. Even that he was one of the first of the pitches, remember. And then Lion served a penalty, of course. So how far was Edu? He was obviously quite a big gap, but then obviously not enough to build a gap in order to get the just to get the result on that occasion. So Edu pitted, and he came out around 7th place on that one. So Edu got a bit deep, and he just pitted for some new tyres. No, he didn't pit for new tyres, he just stayed on the set of tyres. Yeah, it's and for those that are yet to go again, or even yet to do a race, we'll get a better insight on how the race is going to pan out. But bearing in mind that of course is going to be a bit tricky to just to keep just to keep your competitiveness level to as high as possible, knowing that we could end up with some more competitors, or even those that maybe feeling a bit drained from their shift, a 9-5 shift, whatever they're up to, in order to try and get some laps in and so on. Let's go stick it on the channel. I'll have a look. I've dropped a sub to you as well, Ghostly. Welcome along, Heaton. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're well. Yeah, definitely. And it certainly killed Lion off just a touch, because he was one of the first of the pitters also to come in and do a mandatory pit stop without changing the tyres. As you can see, the state of the front right literally says it all. Yep, so there's Ghosty, who's got a channel, and there's Heaton, who's also got a channel. Bobby Vegas is one of them who's got a channel. So it came to around the point where I'm gonna have to channel my instincts to be sure I just stay ahead of the German driver in the BMW. So so he got a penalty himself. Oh, where's that coming from? Ah, that makes sense. So that's why he dropped off a bit, because of a half-second penalty for wall riding. Well, I'd say wall riding, but hitting the barrier on the last corner. I suppose he could afford to do that once or twice, no problem, and still go on to win the race. And that approach, if that would have been one more lap, maybe we would have gone on to stand a chance also. So I've done all I can to defend as hard as possible. And there we have Krieger for BMW taking the win in round 5. Andy comes on to take second place as well. And there's myself for McLaren in P3. That is my second podium of the GT World Series Manufacturers Cup Exhibition 3. A podium at Road Atlanta in the GR3s, and a podium in the GR4 at the Blue Moon. Yes, and GG's to you as well, Ghostly. And I'm sure that you'll do better on the next slot if you're free. So there you have it. That's a replay chat. Okay. So I'm gonna open this ticket. Having got a ticket received from doing one of the only daily races at St. Croix, and then obviously did well on that occasion, to say that St. Croix B has not been used in sport mode in years, believe it or not. So it was good on me off stream to go and get a result on that occasion. Nice. So I'd just like to spare a moment to say thank you very much to those of you who are tuned in to say hello while on the go. Thank you very much to those of you who have been taking part and racing and been racing with regardless of the result. And yes, Marty, welcome along. You just missed out on a good result. You just missed out of me delivering a good result. Unless if you wish to, or somebody tells you different. Well, I'm going to say it anyway. So I hope you're well, Marty. And I'll be in 2 and then 3. If that doesn't go well, anything over 200 points is the target. Yeah, that's the aim. And then obviously, I always say to myself that, obviously, obviously, I said to myself that anywhere in the top 80 helps them contribute to increasing the year. Along with that, if I qualify higher, for example, and if I finish for where I started, then I'll be satisfied with that. Anywhere in the podium is still a good result. Maybe a win, perhaps. Depends on who you're up against. So, the summary of this race, obviously, for those who don't want to know, who are just tuned in, just cover your ears because I'm going to say it anyway. Right. Started 4th, finished 3rd in round 5 of the GT World Series Manufacturers Cup, as I've got another podium, and this time in the GR4s. And I'm happy with that. So it was the sort of result that I was looking to bounce back even further, having considered that that on one of the what ifs, if I could have done something a little different from the previous race or so for the first place. But this one so far, it's been good. It's been good, and I will be live once more on Saturday for the finale of the GT World Series and Manufacturers Cup, and it'll be just after or just before the traditional Formula 1 qualifying in Qatar. Obviously, with it being the sprint race weekend, of course, the last sprint race weekend of the season, and there's still plenty of points up for grabs also for the likes of Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen. Things could change pretty quickly. And so I don't know what to expect, but like I said, that things can change pretty quickly. So we'll see. And other than that, I'm going to have to cut short and crack on with other things. So anybody liking the content, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Appreciate your support as well. Have I got any... Yeah. So, right. I'm going to bounce. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. And take care all. And from myself, Dennis C., I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.